But all the people out there in the dark space, or whatever they call it, I don't know. It just makes me crazy.
It's called dark web. It's called the dark web.
All right.
It's called the dark metal, little me.
So the next problem, here we go.
Dark web. Well, me.
This is problem B.
You're a little me.
We are going to, I know it's my fault I got off track, but now we're back focused
That's the
again.
first time you've ever told me.
We are going to find the angle whose cosine is √3/2. So again, the hardest part of the problem, I know you recognize those numbers. So you know you're going to be able to find the angle. The hard part is, where are we looking? Now, that's a positive. So does it make sense to you that we would look in quadrant 1 for an angle that has a cosine of √3/2? Yeah, and in fact, you could tell me right now, oh, is it 30 again? You could tell me right now that one of the answers is 30. But remember, there's another one. So I want you to think about it. Where could I draw another one of my triangles, another butterfly bow tie triangle, where the cosine would be a positive √3/2?
The one down below.
The one down below it. Very good, Jalen. Now, I need everybody tuned in. Jalen remembers that cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, or x over r. Either way you do it, these are positive, right? So, if I want that to be positive, x has to be positive. So Jalen says, of my remaining quadrants, the only one that has a positive x is this one. This is also a 30. The answer to the question is all the way around. We want to know, how big is that angle? This is 360. This is 30. What would this have to be? 330. Whoever said it, you are exactly right. That has to be 330. Look, use your brains here. The angle is 30 degrees and it's in between my hands. If that's 360 and that's 30, doesn't that have to be 330? So the two answers to the problem are 30 and 330. Lots to think about. Next, now we had something similar to this a few days ago. I would think of that as √3/1 because all my trig ratios are ratios, they're fractions. All right, here we go. That's a positive number, isn't it?
Yep.
So whenever I have a positive, I'm going to start in quadrant 1 because everything's positive in quadrant 1. And you can go ahead and figure out your angle. Opposite is √3, adjacent is 1. That's a 60. So one of your answers is 60. Right there in quadrant 1. That easy. That part's easy. Now, tangent. Opposite over adjacent, or y over x. You need that to be positive. Where else can you put this over this, or y over x, and end up positive? Where else would that happen?
Nowhere. It's the same place. Negative over negative is
Ah, what if y and x are both negative?
there.
Will I end up with a positive? Couldn't both of these be negative numbers? Where does that happen?
Quadrant 3.
Quadrant 3. So you have a 60-degree triangle in quadrant 3. Because these would both be negative. This could be negative root 3 and this could be negative 1. And that would give you a positive tangent. Now you got to figure out how big this angle is. Now I'm not going to do it for you this time. You know this is 180. I want to know what this is right here. This is 180. This is 60. So what does that have to be? 120? 240? Now, this is 270, right?
Yeah.
Does 120 make sense?
Nope. So
Between 180 and 270? That makes sense. I'm hearing some 240s. You are right. Tell me how you got it. Explain to the rest how you got it. It's here's 180. And you went down 60 more, right? It's pretty common sense.
I was just confused. I was confused by the error because you started on the right side.
You always start over here. So I go 180 and then 60 more.
Yeah, I get it.
Tricky stuff. Let's look at the next one. Oh lordy, it's got a negative in it.
So you're always wanting to get to the bottom of the triangle to the hypotenuse?
You always want, yes, you always go under the hypotenuse. This is the angle.
Okay. That makes more sense.
All right, so we want the angle whose sine is negative 1 over root 2. Now this one is harder because it's negative. So I want you to stop and think for a second. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, or y over r. If that has to be negative, where could it happen? Where could it be that y is negative? Remember, r is always positive, so you can leave r out of the conversation. We need y to be negative.
2 or 3?
Is y negative in 2?
No.
No.
There or there.
There or there. This is where y is negative.
Yeah.
This is where y is negative. So this time, my two triangles are here. So the angles that I am looking for are this one. I need to find this angle. And I need to find this angle. Okay? Now, that's not going to be hard at all. If the sine is negative 1 over root 2, can you tell me how big my reference angle is? That's a 45. So is this one. Now, I want you to look at the purple. Look at the purple. From here to here is how much? 180. But I got to go 45 more.
225.
225. That angle is 225 degrees. It's 180 plus 45. Now let's look at the blue one. If I went all the way around, it would be 360, right?
Yes.
But I stopped 45 degrees before I got to 360. So where did I stop?
315.
315. So the answers to the problem are 225 and 315. Okay, a couple more and then it'll be time to go lunch.
I'm hungry.
You're hungry.
I'm a hungry hippo.
Hungry hippo. All right, cosine negative 1/2. So I need an angle whose cosine is negative. All right. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse, x over r. Now don't word it out. I want everybody thinking about this. Where could the cosine be negative? Now, right here's your key. R's out of it. R's always positive. So I really want to know, where is x negative?
Left side.
Left side. I asked you not to blurt it out, but you
Oh,
did.
sorry.
Is everybody good with being on the left side? X is cosine, negative over here. So I've got a picture over here and over here. So one of my angles is this one. And the other one is this one. Now, we gotta figure out how big those angles are. The cosine adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse.
That's a 60.
This is a root 3, so the angles here are 60s.
Yeah, that's 120.
Okay? Now we're gonna look at the red angle first. Okay? If I came all the way around to here, it would be 180, right? But I stopped 60 degrees before I got to 180.
120.
120. So one of your answers is 120 degrees. This is 120 because it's 60 before I got to 180. Now this one is 60 after I got to 180, isn't it? So what would it be? 240. So the answers to this question are 120 and 240. Now, I don't know if you paid any attention or not to all these examples because it's so overwhelming. There's just so much to remember. But every time I find my answers, I either do 180 minus my angle, or I do 180 plus my angle, or if I happen to be in this quadrant, I do 360 minus. We always key off of 180 and 360. Please don't ever use 90s. It's always 180 minus, 180 plus, or 360 minus. Always. Oh, whoa, whoa, we got another problem to do. Don't you pack up yet? I give you 35 minutes for lunch. I already give you more than I'm supposed to.
35 is supposed to
We're supposed to have 5 minutes for a fast period. and-
No, 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 no.
It's 40 minutes policy.
No.
Check the blue book.
Seen the blue book?
Blue book.
You know what? You are looking at the queen of the blue
Have you,
book, so
have
stop
you
it.
read the blue book?
Just for directly like you haven't read the book before. I don't think you have.
Remember, I was an administrator for 5 years. I helped write part of it.
Nobody reads it anyway.
I know, except me.
Give us like the blue book.
Do you read it every year?
Not just the changes. All right, here we go. One more. Let's see if we can get this one done. This one is a little bit tricky. Let's think of it as a fraction. Now, this will not be in quadrant 1. Agreed? Okay, so I gotta figure out where it's gonna be. Now remember, tangent is y over x, or opposite over adjacent, whichever way works for you. If the fraction is going to be negative, then what does that mean about y and x? One of them's positive, and one of them is negative. Where does that happen? Quadrant 2
And that one.
and quadrant 4. I have negative, positive, 1 over 1, and positive, negative, 1 over 1. So my angles that I am looking for, and as Jalen pointed out, the angles are the diagonals here, or the slanted ones, the radius or the hypotenuse. So this purple angle is one I'm looking for, and this red angle is one I'm looking for. Now, how big is my reference angle here? 45. So these are 45s. So Mrs. Ford told you we use 180 or 360 depending on where we're at in the plane. So if I want to know what that purple one is
135.
that going to be 180 plus 45 or 180 minus 45? So that's 135 degrees?
Yeah.
And then what's this one? 360 minus 45? All the way around is 360. I'm backing up 45, so this one is 315. So your two answers are 135 and 315. Now, quiz on Monday or Tuesday, we will not preview a time. So,